Beth Barrett. Hello, Queen.
Hi, Nancy. Great to see you as always.
So good to see you.
Woohoo! Beth Barrett!
Of course, we've been meeting like this for many years, in person, on the red carpet on opening night.
Look at the little bow tie.
Not quite the same thing, but I'm very happy to see your face.
It's always good to see you.
So the Seattle International Film Festival, obviously, it's a cornerstone of our cultural calendar, our cultural life. When I got the late March email that it was being canceled, I wasn't surprised, but I was shocked because it really drove home the impact of COVID-19 in a more real way. Have you been hearing that from people?
You know, it's interesting. I've been thinking it. We were pretty early to cancel in the calendar, but knowing that we had to put the health and safety of our audience and our staff at the paramount, and knowing that there was no way we were going to be able to have 3,000 people at McCaw Hall. Working within the arts, especially here in Seattle, has been, devastating, because COVID has been a devastating effect on the arts and cultural organizations here. But also, it's also really hopeful. Everyone is finding new ways to connect to each other and new ways to connect our audiences to the arts. Mm-hmm. And, and part of us are holding on to being really hopeful. Mm-hmm. But it is really real, knowing that SIFF can't happen, that sort of spring cornerstone in the calendar. It does really drive it home.
So what is SIFF Cinema doing to keep audiences' eyeballs and minds engaged right now?
So we launched virtual SIFF Cinema about 6 weeks ago. And that's been going really, really well. We've been able to have some incredible titles and keep hold of them for a number of weeks. And we will continue doing that for the foreseeable future. We also were able to bring back SIFF Movie Club. We just had our third SIFF Movie Club. And that's been a more discussion-based. And we also were able to relaunch our education department, finding some different classes that would work in a virtual setting.
Joe and I took the Dave Drummond location event online. It was great, all those Seattle locations. It was really an interesting class.
Super interesting. I've never actually been able to attend one of his classes. So I was like, oh, this is great. And I forgot about all those films that were shot here and how directors were representing certain neighborhoods. The man is a font of knowledge. There's no one that knows Seattle quite like Dave Drummond.
Yeah, and he speaks extremely well. So as artistic director, you are the public face of SIFF, and you always do exude a very calm and very strong and confident persona.
Oh, thank you.
How are you handling this seismic shift personally?
Honestly, it's been really hard, because the people that I work with at SIFF, they're my friends and family. They're, we all believe in something. We believe in what we do. We believe in film as a connective tissue within the world. And it's been really hard not to see them, and not to see my other friends, and not to see my family. And the world is a very confusing place, and to not be able to share that confusion in person with people has been really hard. So personally, I am gardening a lot, and reconnecting to the earth, and discovering spring is a pretty amazing season. I haven't had one for 17 years. So every day I walk out the front door, and I'm like, oh my God, it's really nice out. My wife is like, this is what happens in spring. It's always happened like this. I'm like, but I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of balance to that, but I'm super curious what kinds of films are going to come out in 2021 and 2022. Hopefully they're not just all documentaries about pandemic, but how people were able to connect in different ways, and how people were able to keep that sense of themselves when they're by themselves.
Yeah. So at this point, what is the vision for SIFF Cinema as an organization going forward? And the piggyback question is, do you think there'll be a festival in 2021?
I certainly hope there will be. In my grand glorious plans, there is a festival in 2021. our mission doesn't change. We want to still create those experiences that connect people to incredible film from around the world. And, you know, in an ideal world, sure, it's absolutely in person with that giant tub of popcorn. Is it also online? Is it also in small group discussions? Is it also, there are so many different ways that it could be. And we just don't know what that looks like.
Right.
But we're open to all of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, finally, I always ask you on opening night, I say, yep. I need Beth Barrett's top 3 movie picks in that year's festival. So let's do a little shift here. What are Beth Barrett's top 3 movie picks to watch from the online virtual SIFF Cinema menu?
Well, we've got 3 really great films up right now, actually. Andrew Ahn's Driveways, which was a big hit in Festival 2019. It's a really amazing, tender portrait of intergenerational friendship.
You know what I wish? I wish we could do that all over again. Maybe be a little more deliberate. Take our time. Take a good look at stuff.
We also have a brand new film, documentary called The Painter and the Thief, which premiered at Sundance, about a Czech artist who develops a very unlikely friendship with the man that stole 2 of her paintings.
This is destructive.
I'll ask you regularly to sit here.
I can tell you some more about how I got to be a criminal.
This guy is often quite self-destructive. It feels like that is his way to be seen. You can open your eyes now.
Whoa, what the
And then because we're honoring over the 25 days of SIFF, we're honoring some of the past films that have been there, been in the festival and been really huge hits. So we're going to take a look at Lane 1974 from local director S.J. Chiro, and she will be there to discuss afterwards to discuss her film along with other members of her cast and crew.
I told you to leave those roller skates.
These are the best things I ever got from the free store.
You haven't used them in months, Lane.
I can't use them on dirt roads.
We can't take everything with us. Don't get attached to material goods, Lane. Big lesson. Kids, this is embracing your freedom.
Well, it's so nice to chat with you, and let's just kind of keep in touch and kind of keep updated on what's going on. And I do want to show you that I do have your crown. I've been shining it up, and so I'm virtually crowning you right now. There you go. Oh, Beth Barrett, the queen of many things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Take
Nancy.
care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
This year, the queen of SIFF, Miss Beth Barrett, everybody. Here she is. How are you?
Good. So I'm going to wear this all night. This
Well,
is awesome.
those are real jewels.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's very expensive. I
Yeah,
borrowed it
our channel's really going all out there.
Yeah, our budget's really going
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
Yeah, and Queen Elizabeth actually let me borrow it. But,
Oh, that's very nice.
Yeah.